Jerry Jervis. He's an integral part of our management team. And Jerry brings to the table a great deal of experience, not only personally, but his family's history of being in the business for many, many years. I mean, how many generations, Jerry?
Well, now my daughter just got her license, so we are 4 generations
Four
now.
generations. So between you, your brothers, your mom and dad, and so on, your grandfather, we've seen a lot of business cycles.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen a ton of cycles that go through this business. And right now we're in a cycle where people seem to be a little confused about maybe what's going on in 2022
Mm-hmm.
or what could happen in 2022. So here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's now December 23rd, 2022. What happened in 22 that you want to talk about? Instead of us forecasting, right, we're going to fast forward. Here we are in December 2022. Fast forward a year from now. What did we just see that happened in the last, let's call it 12 months?
I think we saw a lot. I think we saw a lot of what happened in 2021, to be honest with you.
Okay, kind of a repeat?
Kind of repeat. End of 2021, inventory was at an all-time low. I think it started to pick up again. And I think the frenzy happened all over again.
I think so.
Yeah.
That'll be great if it does, for some, right?
Yeah, I think for some, it maybe not quite at the pace of 2021, but there's, even what we're seeing now. Right now, just yesterday, talked to an agent. A property in Mission Viejo went for almost $300,000 over on a $1.1 million list price.
Wow.
On a $700,000 condo, it went up $100,000 over, for 1,200 square feet. So I think the demand is still there, and until the demand goes away,
yeah.
Yeah. May not be quite at the run up, but if interest rates go up, that could be a different story.
Well, not long ago, I interviewed Stephen Thomas, and he's a great source and an authority on I think for so many things in our industry. And one of the things he said was that interest rates will go up, but he didn't expect them to be extremely high or anything. We're not going to reach 5%. We could, maybe we peak out there. Who knows? Depends on so many other factors we're probably not even aware of, and that don't relate to real estate, per se. But the bottom line is interest rates are going to rise at some point. So looking back now, we can say interest rates rose when during 2022?
I think that if I had the crystal ball, I would think probably.
Oh, you're looking backwards. No?
Oh, yeah. Right. April was when probably we saw.
We start to see some rise,
Yeah.
increase in interest rates around April. That's what we saw, huh?
Yeah.
Looking backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So now let's go back. Now let's jump back to 2021, December 21. We're reading lowest inventory on record in the history of
ever
doing real estate ever. Is that a little scary?
Um,
And what do you think agents should do? What do you think agents should be doing? Based on your experience, you've gone through this four generations of Jervises, if you will. We've been through these cycles. You as a franchise owner and owner of a business, what should an agent be doing? Give them some worldly advice. Now looking forward in 2022.
I think it's, I don't think it's going to change from any other time period of when you need to be a good agent.
Okay.
What do
you mean by being a good agent?
Being an agent, being in touch with your sphere of influence, offering your services, providing more value than you expect in return.
Okay.
Because and you have to be an expert. You have to have knowledge. You've got to, because people are going to ask, well, should I wait? Do you think I should wait till the end of the year? Do you think the market's going to crash? People have all these questions. I get them every day. I used to do in the 2000 during the last crash. I did tons of work for the banks for foreclosures. So I have agents calling me all the time. They know it. Hey, are you getting in touch with your asset managers? Do you think it's going to all come crashing down? And I tell them, no, it's not. People have jobs. Unless the jobs go away. Now, in the early 90s, like very beginning, like started in 1990 when I first got into real estate, things went down because people lost jobs. And there was high unemployment, and that's when people started losing their homes. But right now, my understanding is that we have more jobs out there than people want to take.
It's crazy.
So I don't sense that the unemployment's going to rise and people are going to be out of jobs. And people that have been getting loans, unlike the other downturn in 2007, they actually have to qualify. So as long as they keep their job, they've qualified for their house. I don't see a whole onslaught of foreclosures coming. So anybody out there thinking about that, just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Be in touch with the people you know. Find new people. Find other ways to get involved in the community. And let everybody know what you do right here. Yeah. Wear a jacket. Wear a shirt. wear a hat, whatever you got to do. You have to let people know you're in real estate.
Don't be a secret agent.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And also know what you're talking about.
It almost feels to me like at certain times the consumer or people that ask us those questions are looking for a reason that the market will correct or, if you will, turn in a different direction. And the way you just described it, I think, was perfect, because when you look at interest rates, shouldn't be a deterrent. I mean, they're still the lowest interest rates, among the lowest interest rates in 75, 60 years, 60, 70 years. You look at unemployment in Orange County is at almost historic lows, right? It's fantastic. And you look at what, maybe people are getting signing bonuses to work for Amazon. They're getting signing bonuses to work at In-N-Out Burger, and they're paying $20 an hour at In-N-Out Burger. That's not a bad wage for a younger person or somebody that wants to supplement their income, whatever. It's still not a bad salary, right? So you look around and you see the economy's good. Jobs are well, we have more jobs than we have people working for them, and working in them right now and looking for jobs. So what is this idea that, is it just because people are conditioned that the market could change and crash and therefore we're going to wait?
I think so. I think people have that price fear is my sense. That is too much money for that, right? They go, wow, that house.
Because they benchmarked it against a
Well, yeah, they just do it. They've seen it go up.
property?
They never, especially people that didn't get into the market. They're watching something. Maybe they were thinking about buying, for example, this condo we were just talking about in Costa Mesa. Well, a year ago it was probably 600,000. Then next thing you know, the comps are 700,000. Now they get 22 offers on it, and the new comp's going to be 800,000. So they just go, wow, that's too much money, 800,000. However, unless they're writing a check for it and paying cash for it, which most people aren't, there's a lot of cash buyers, but a lot of people the majority of people we deal with aren't getting a loan. I mean, aren't paying cash; they're getting a loan. Well, if they can qualify for it, so if I'm an agent, I'm talking to people about payments, about 30-year fixed rate payments at a low interest rate. As long as you can afford your payment, who cares what the price is? If somebody, if you got the interest rate down low enough, and somebody said you could live in this $5 million house, I'll give you a 40-year loan, and it's $3,000 a month. Would you do it? People would be like, yeah, I'll do it.
Sure.
They wouldn't care about the price. They wouldn't care about the dollar amount on the sales price. They care about the payment. So that's what I think we need to talk to people about. Now, if somebody says, oh, I want to buy a house and I think I'm going to move in a year, am I going to make money? I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody should, probably plan on making a whole lot of money in a year. Although, we have seen a big rise up. But I think people have just like kind of sticker shock. But when you get down to the reality of it, they have to live somewhere. There's no such thing as a 30-year fixed rate rent. Every year your landlord's going to give you a raise in your rent. So why not lock in now with a payment on your house? And guess what? In 30 years, it's still the same.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So I think there is a sticker shock syndrome that's out there.
Yes.
And I think it's based on perhaps prices that were once much, much lower, like post-crash, post-Great Recession, decrease in values. And I think those are benchmarked against today's prices by a lot of people. And they're saying, well, prices have risen, prices have doubled since then, prices have risen 60% since then. But does it really matter in the end if that's your home, not an investment? Everybody wants an investment in their home. But if you look at the equity now that's in residential real estate, it's amazing. It's the highest it's ever been, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So even if you were to lose a little bit of that equity, are you still ahead with certain tax advantages and on a long-term basis, because this is your home. It's not just a house. This is home. And I think that's what we need to emphasize a little bit too this coming year.
Yeah. Benefits, people need to understand the benefits of home ownership.
Yeah.
Which is what? Pride of ownership, nobody can kick you out. Equity pay down. You're either going to pay off your own loan or you're going to pay off your landlord's loan. That's it.
Take, pick.
Some tax benefits.
Choose, right?
Yeah. And we call it the icing on the cake, appreciation.
Right.
My grandpa used to say one real estate investment is worth a whole lifetime's of savings.
There you go. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had sold, a house for a guy there's a guy over in Southeast LA. He bought his house from my grandpa. I want to say he bought it in 1946. $7,500. And, my grandpa passed away years ago. So this guy, Mr. Van Gundy was his name. He walks in the office one day. He was looking for my grandpa. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, my grandpa's not around anymore. Can I help you? Yeah, I got to sell my house. Your grandpa sold it to me. So we ended up selling his house. At that time, it was like $240,000, I think. And then I moved him out to Orange County, and he was trying to add some money. And I saw his savings account, and his equity that he was getting from his house was more than he had saved in his entire life. You know, and he was a humble guy. He worked at the Firestone tire plant, but all the money he had made and saved was not as much as the equity as he had in his house.
And that came from his hard work.
That
The savings did, right? And the
Yeah, savings came
appreciation
from
just
hard work.
happened naturally.
Appreciation because he was willing to take the risk, and he needed a place to live, and it was just icing on the cake for him.
Yeah. That's a great story, actually, you know, Jerry. That's a great story to be told. You know, the houses, I look around some of these houses down on Balboa Island now that they bought for $35,000. They've had in the family for 75 years. Just keep passing it through the family. These homes now are worth $3-4 million, $2-3 million. It's amazing. So I think your case is well stated, right? You proved it. So looking again back on 2022, focusing just on the agent, just for a minute. Let's recap. What should an agent be doing in 2022 to be successful? And what should they be doing with their clients, first of all? And secondly, what should they be doing for themselves, okay, to make sure that they can keep up with the velocity of the market, okay, and the needs and wants of the consumer?
Well, one, I mean, for those of you that have been to Ninja, I think you got to start your day off on a positive note. I mean, there's lots to be grateful for. And I think gratitude sets the whole stage for your entire day.
For sure.
That, and for me, it's also exercise. I get up every morning. You know, I go do my thing for an hour at the gym, and for me, that's whatever kind of tension or whatever I may have brought into the morning from the next day. It's an hour where it's gone, so I can start the day kind of with a clear head and a clear mind, clear body, and
no question, feel much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think you have to have a plan. Like you have to know every day, especially in this business. I mean, it's great. We work for ourselves, but you know, if we're not working, we're out of business. You know, you might as well. It's like owning a Subway and having your doors locked, and nobody can buy a sandwich because you decided that day you're not going to have a plan and not work.
That's right.
And so,
and when you say plan, what kind of a plan are you suggesting?
I think it's got to be continually reaching out and talking to people.
Okay.
Setting appointments. You know, depending what your niche is. You know, some people, everybody's got different things they like to do and that they're good at. Some get their business through maybe their church or social clubs.
Well, we've implemented the 12-week year plan
Yeah.
in the company, not only for our management team that we tried it out for a substantial period of time, but now for the agents. And I think that the agent can take that as the structure they want to use, right? And put that and implement it into their business life. I think it can really, really work well for them.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I think so. I think a mixture between the 12-week year and the Ninja Path.
Yeah.
And what I think agents need to understand, it's not like you're out door knocking 8 hours a day. That's not it at all. It's providing value for people, talking to them, and not selling them anything. Because you're really not selling them anything. You're just checking in to see how they're doing, how they can be of service. And, you know, I still think, you know, for a lot of people that bought houses 10 years ago. I tell you what, I'm one of them. I have a house that I own. I have a 4.75 interest rate on it. And I've just been too lazy to refi it. So, I mean, I should refi it.
Okay.
But I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through the brain damage of it and do all that. But if I really sat and like, I keep looking at them, I'm like, but there are plenty of our clients that have interest rates that are in the fours.
That's right.
And so just calling and saying, hey, how are you? Hey, I don't know if you've been up on the rates. Have you been able to check out the rates? It's still amazing. They've gone up a little bit, but they're still great. Did you know you can save a lot of money? And, you know, you're not selling them anything. You're not a loan agent. You're just offering a service. But that gets into other issues of, no, I don't think I want to refi because I think I might be moving in the next year.
Sure. It opens the door
It
to a
opens the door.
discussion.
It's just
right?
a discussion.
It's conversation, right.
You know, you're not calling saying, hey, Joe, I haven't talked to you in 5 years. Do you want to sell your house? No, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's the cold calling thing is a thing of the past, I think.
Yeah. So just, you know, spend the majority of your week working on your business. You know, how am I going to find clients? You know, let's say you don't have a big sphere of influence. Well, you know, I know things are a little bit weird, so because of COVID, but there's plenty of organizations that are still meeting, now getting together. I mean, do something, volunteer. One, it's good to volunteer to help out.
Sure.
Two, you get to know people. Go work out at a gym. Start expanding your.
Don't be a secret agent.
Yeah, just start getting to know more people.
Yeah.
That's what this business is. It's a
I
people
agree.
business. Tell people if you don't like. I had one agent come to me one time. Well, I don't really like people.
Okay.
I don't really like to get involved in anything.
Okay.
And I'm kind of afraid to talk to people. I just said, I think maybe you should go get another job. Because this is not the job for you.
That's right. I can't imagine giving someone that advice.
I also think, too, set a goal, whatever it may be. If you want to do, say in the next 12 weeks, depending on how long you've been in the business, what your production is. Some agents may say, hey, I want to do 10 deals in the next 12 weeks. Maybe you're brand new and you're like, hey, I just want to get my first listing. But have something, because without having something out there,
Have an attainable goal that's bold,
Yeah.
right? And steps you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Takes you out of your comfort zone.
yeah, and I think there's power in setting something out there. A couple years ago, my parents moved. We found a sheet that my dad had. It was from 1957, and it said, and it was handwritten, and it had all his life goals on it.
Really?
From I want to have 4 children.
neat is
I want to
that?
have 4 successful, healthy children. I want to be a respected real estate broker and own a successful business. I want to own a certain amount of real estate. I want to have X amount in savings or bonds. People bought bonds back then.
Right.
And we still have it on a piece of paper. It's really cool. And he well exceeded every single thing on his. Well, the cool one is he wanted to buy my mom a pink Cadillac for her 30th birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Love that.
And he did it, but the reason, even asking, he'll say, the reason I did it is because I wrote it down.
Yeah.
And
I think those are words of wisdom right there.
Yeah, it was
Jerry.
great.
Yeah.
And it's cool. We still have it. And
That's really, really neat.
Yeah.
That's great. Really. Well, so let's conclude by asking you, if you had your daughter just got into real estate. She just passed her exam. She went through Ninja. So you and your daughter are sitting here, and she says, Dad, what is the best advice you can give me for 2022 that's different than what you've already talked about? That could be a stumper, I know. But what would you tell her to do? What would you recommend for her? Not tell her. What would you recommend for Brooklyn to do?
I think in her case, because if I know her personality,
You know her
obviously,
personality.
I know her.
Right.
I would say plan as many social events as you can, because she's good at that.
Okay.
And provide service to people, to the community, which she's doing. This year, this is Christmas. She's doing a blanket drive. She's telling
Nice.
people, hey, I'll come pick up blankets at your house. She lives in Santa Barbara, and there's a lot of homeless people up there.
Right.
She got connected with a homeless shelter, and so she blasted her social media, and even down here in Orange County, she did. I have a whole garage full of blankets in my house right now.
That's what she said?
No, yeah, I have
Oh,
them at
you
my
do?
house. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
she's connected with people here.
Oh, then I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and so
That's really neat.
she's providing
really neat.
something. She's making more connections.
Yeah.
People know everything she does on her social media has the Seven Gables brand and marketing. So people are now associating her kind of look with real estate.
Okay.
Too, she just did some kind of Christmas thing. This is a great story. She hosted a little Christmas gathering for some friends.
Okay.
She texted me the next day, "Hey Dad, from the Christmas gathering we did last night, look at this text." And it's a text from somebody that was there. Hey Brooklyn, nice to meet you last night. I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So she just started chatting with this person. Come to find out, Dad wanted to give her some money to buy a house, and now she's looking, and now she wants to use Brooklyn. And then she said,
Great as that.
and then she texted me, TSW. Which for those of you that went to Ninja, it means this stuff works.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, for her, I'd say just, because she doesn't have a whole list of previous clients.
All right. I think that's really good advice. That's excellent. And at the same time, continuing her learning curve
Yes.
so that she becomes that expert. So when people ask her questions, knowing that she hasn't been in real estate for a long time, she knows the answers.
Yeah.
And they're sharp answers. They're not, well, let me find out, or I'm not sure, or it could be this or could be that. It's a definite, clear answer.
Yeah. And I'd say whether you're brand new or you've been in the business for 40 years, call your manager. Call me.
Right.
Role play a little bit before you go talk to somebody.
Exactly. Great advice.
Because I still do it with one of my very dear friends and agents, Leslie Jacoby. Leslie walks in. Leslie's been in the business longer than I've been in the business. I mean, she's amazing.
Right.
But she'll walk in and go, "Hey, I'm going to go meet with this person. What do you think about this?" You know,
See.
and so we just kind of talk.
It's wonderful.
And it's not, I don't give her a sales pitch. I'm like, maybe like I'd approach it this way, and she'll go, "No, that guy, he wouldn't like that." Okay, well, what about this? So role play with another agent in the office. Come, talk to me, talk to Mike, talk to any of the managers.
Yeah.
Because really being confident before you go in and talk to people is everything.
Take that advice. Take that advice from you, Jerry, because that's really valuable. I read an article the other day about Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, and what he's accomplished and how far down the road he's taken Disney over the years. And after 15 years of being the CEO, he said, I'm resigning. And he turned the CEO position over to another person. And they interviewed him and said, why did you resign? He said, there came a point in time, this is how honest he was about it, which I thought was remarkable. There came a point in time where I stopped, or less and less, back up. There came a point in time where I began to take advice less and less from the people around me. And because I believed in my head that I was more responsible for the success of this than the advice I was getting from people around me. And that's not good for the company.
Yeah.
So here's a guy who's so humbled by his position at this, worldwide company, that he realized that he stopped, well, he didn't stop. He was taking less and less advice from people, and that was what really made him and Disney successful, not just him. He might have been the executor. He might have been the driving force, and he processed that information. But at the point in time where he started to think that it was he was responsible for the success is when he knew that he would start to fail the company.
Yep.
And it's really interesting. And you can take that analogy and use that with an agent. If they stop taking advice from you because they think they know more, chances are their success will begin to recede or become less and less.
Yes.
I think that's interesting.
And especially when you first get in the business. When I first got in the business, and even when my brother and my sister bought my dad's company from him in the early 90s, I was calling him every day. We were all calling him.
Yeah.
And we had all been in the business too, but now it's different running a company versus being in sales. But it was always like, hey, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad, what do you think? And it doesn't matter. He'd have a story. Well, he always says, you know what? Everything's the same. It's just different faces.
Yeah, well, the fact patterns and scenarios are very similar,
Yeah,
right?
very, very
different era.
in terms of people,
right?
In terms of how people's nature and
people's nature is always the same.
But even still, at the core of how a deal's made, like you said, well, the deal's made when the buyer's not happy and the seller's not happy. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Then they make the deal, they get over a little bit of their unhappiness, and they move on, and then they're happy.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's great advice, Jerry. I really, really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Really, really wise, and a lot of wisdom there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. And
Appreciate it.
Anytime, agents, give me a call. Make sure you call your managers.
Perfect.
Talk to somebody.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.